Adding fractions with unlike denominators. I have 3/4 plus 1/5. Now, in order to add fractions, the denominators must be alike. They must be the same. And you notice I have a 4 as a denominator and a 5 as a denominator. So I have to find a number that they have in common. And the way that we do that is we look for what's called the least common multiple, or it's also known as the least common denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give multiples for 4 and 5 and see which one they have in common that's the least. I usually do about 4 or 5 multiples of each. And if I need to, I go even farther. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Okay, let me do multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. I can stop there because I've noticed I've found a common multiple for 4 and 5. That's going to be my least common multiple or least common denominator. So I found a common denominator. Okay, I'm going to rewrite the problem vertically. You notice it's horizontal here. I prefer to write my fraction problems vertical. I find that that's easier because basically what I'm doing by finding the common multiple, the common denominator, what I'm doing is finding equivalent fractions for 3/4 and 1/5. My new common denominator is going to be 20 for both of these fractions. So basically what that means is take a look at 3/4. 3/4 is going to be equivalent to some number over 20. 1/5 is going to be equivalent to some number over 20. I am not changing the value of the 3/4 or the 1/5. They will look differently because they have new denominators, but they are the same. And like I said, you have to have common denominators in order to add fractions. Okay, so let's take a look at 3/4 first. 3/4 equals some number over 20. Well, 20 divided by 20 divided by some number equals 4. 4 times some number equals 20. That would be 5. The multiple 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Well, if I have to multiply the 5 times the denominator 4, I must multiply the numerator by that same number in order for it to be equivalent. So 5 times 3 would be 15. Now how do I double check it? Well, it's easy. If you cross multiply, you can double check to make sure that 3/4 is equivalent to 15/20. 3 times 20 is 60. 4 times 15 is 60. So that is equivalent. Let's move on to 1/5 now. So I want an equivalent fraction for 1/5. 20 divided by some number equals 5. 5 times that number equals 20. That number being 4. Once again, if I multiply the denominator by 4, I must multiply the numerator by 4. 4 times 1 would be 4. That's going to give me an equivalent fraction. 1/5 equals 4/20. Let's double check it just to make sure using cross multiplication. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 20 is 20. So those match. Now, I have my fraction 15/20. I can now add it to 4/20, and that's going to give me 19/20. Now, 19/20 is in its lowest terms. It cannot be reduced, put in lowest terms, or simplified. That is how you add fractions with unlike denominators using the least common multiple or least common denominator method.